Obviously, anybody who loses their home is somebody with whom we must show enormous empathy.
Empathy is the power that will save the world.
You're going to encounter all kinds of people and all kinds of obstacles that stand in the way of empathy, that argue against empathy.
This is that empathy quotient is code word for jurisprudential social engineering.
Empathy for the little guy, but the law may not be on his side.
A judge has to be a person with empathy. What does that mean? Usually that's a code word for an activist judge.
Picking judges based upon his or her perceived sympathy.
Crazy nonsense empathetic. I'll give you empathy.
Justice is not about empathy. Empathy leads you to very bad decisions.
Do you know what the word empathy means?
No, I'll have to have the beginner's course on that one. Empathy, is it something like sympathy?
So the empathy is the second party seeing this other person's humanness. And the way we see the humanness is by seeing the needs without these enemy images clouding that.
You offer no change.
Thinking about what is it that they see?
You have the same foreign policy. You want more troops in Afghanistan.
What is it that they feel?
You're not talking about only going to war with a declaration.
What motivates them?
You don't want to deal with the monetary, financial crisis in this country.
Is there some capacity for us to find some common ground?
You want to keep, the system together for the benefit of the banks and the big corporations and the politicians.
It's not easy. It's not a matter of holding hands and singing Kumbaya.
Do you care about sick people using marijuana? I mean, have you come out for that?
If you engage in that hard work,
it's going to make sure you're never going to have a draft and that we're going to bring our troops on, we're going to balance the budget, we're going to have sound money. He never talks about any of that.
Then, in fact, it turns out under the surface that people care about the same things. They have the same hopes.
I tried to acknowledge that his supporters and my supporters have a lot of overlap, and they do.
You might be concerned that expressing a caring approach toward another person will result in the other person manipulating you. This isn't about abdicating your own need or your own point of view. It simply means that you're able to step into the shoes of another person and acknowledge their feelings.
I believe that diplomacy should be the cornerstone of any foreign policy.
And I can see Russia from my house.
It's hard work to understand people who are not like you. It's hard work to be able to empathize with those who have different experiences and different values than you.
There's a wise Latina heading for the Supreme Court, and she's so empathetic.
The problem we have is when we get defensive, and we're not sure about our beliefs and our convictions.
Barack Obama needs to start putting it on the line in fights against the banks, the energy companies, and the healthcare industry.
And so we start trying to sound a little bit like them.
But actually, what he needs in his personality is a little George Bush.
And that is a profound mistake.
So the empathy is the second party seeing this other person's humanness. And the way we see the humanness is by seeing the needs without these enemy images clouding that. It's not easy to do that. It requires full presence to what is alive in this other person.
It turns out under the surface that people care about the same things. They have the same hopes. They have the same dreams. And ultimately, that's going to be our salvation. That's going to be how we are able to live in this increasingly complex, fast-paced, and diverse world.